The show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, Meatball!
Watch the Sam Bouquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bouquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Driven to right, Judge in steep retreat. Gone for De La Cruz. Triple single homer, his team leading 18th. He has erupted tonight. It's 5-1 Cincinnati.
Daily type of night here tonight.
I actually love it. I love it. When he's dirty, we're good. He can puke on the field all he wants.
High fly ball to right field. Pretty well hit. Tucker back. It is long gone. 2-run homer, Lars Nootbaar.
Earlier this month. Oh, my. Drive to center field, and Nick Gonzalez has a 5-hit game. Nicky G into second base with a double. He's 5 for 5.
And with that, we welcome you into the Sam Bouquin Show on a sultry, hot, humid, hazy, it's hot out. Welcome in, 1310 WDPN, and we are streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. Sam Bouquin here, Ryan Rainsberg there. Hello to all of you listening today. What's going on, Alliance? What's going on in Massillon, Jackson, Plain Township, Perry, North Canton, all over Northeast Ohio, and all over the world at AM1310WDPN.com. Oh, boy, is it a hot one today. We're going to see a little relief tomorrow. Now, we're not talking 20 or 25 degrees, but we're going to see a little relief tomorrow and maybe some rain, just to kind of cool things down a little bit. Again, same script as we had yesterday. If you're out and about, be careful, be alert, be aware, make sure you're hydrated, make sure you check on if you've got some elderly neighbors or you got a lot of folks in your neighborhood with pets, just kind of check on them a little bit, check on everybody and make sure that everybody's doing okay, because not everybody is lucky enough to have, maybe air conditioning or get to a cooling center or get to a pool or something like that. So make sure you are, if you're in a position to, make sure everybody is doing okay and do some check-ins throughout the day. But tomorrow, I think we may cool down a little bit, so that will bring a little relief to our area. All right, lots of stuff going on today. We'll talk a little Guardians Blue Jays as they open up a series up at Progressive Field coming up here in about 3.5 hours or so. The Guards 39-37. The Jays are 41-36. And Toronto is one of the teams that we're kind of, I know it's early, but we're kind of battling position-wise with them as far as the possible wild card team. Then when the Jays leave town, the Cardinals will come in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this week is pretty much for the birds. But I'm up at Progressive Field. All right. Also, I want to get into a little bit today. We broached this subject yesterday and maybe one day last week. What are the Guardians going to do as far as the July 31st trade deadline? You're starting to hear whispers. You're starting to hear some murmurs about Stephen Kwan. And Stephen Kwan's name came up a couple of weeks ago. I just looked at a little article in passing. I didn't really pay it much attention because in the back of my mind, I thought, no, there's no way. There's nothing to this. Well, if the whispers become a little bit louder, then you start to see it and smell a little smoke. And now you're starting to hear this a lot, that Stephen Kwan could be on his way out by the All-Star break. Maybe the trade deadline. And it sounds like for certain that he won't be back next year. From what I understand and what I hear, the Guardians were hoping that Kwan would give them the, quote, hometown discount like Jose Ramirez did. And apparently Quan and his group, his agent, what have you, are not interested at all. And, I I don't blame him. You don't have to give anybody a hometown discount. Now, look, I'm glad Jose did, because if he didn't, he wouldn't be here. Francisco Lindor did not. A lot of other guys over the years have not. But I don't blame them. If you know the Guardians are going to play cheap ball with you from the get-go, and they give you the face of, well, we've taken pretty good care of you, you owe us a hometown discount. Nothing could be further from the truth. So we'll get into that a little bit later on today. So kind of get that in your mindset a little bit. And what would you do if Stephen Kwan was on the move? And what if there is a sell-off of 3 or 4 or 5 guys? If they go that route. Look, there's 3 routes you can go. You can buy. You can just stay stagnant, or you can sell. And I'm interested to get your thoughts on what you think the Guardians are going to do. What path are they going to go down? As far as, July 31st is not that far away. And then, boom, it's August. And then the dog days, and then it's September. And then you start figuring out who's going to be ready to play baseball in the month of October. So we'll get into that here a little bit this afternoon as well. A little trade in the NBA yesterday. Drew Holiday goes to the Portland Trail Blazers. This was not a blockbuster deal like the Kevin Durant deal was the other day, but it kind of moved the meter a little bit. Holiday goes to the Portland Trail Blazers pretty much for Anthony Simmons. Holiday about 11 points a game last year. Simmons at 20. Holiday 4.3 rebounds. Simmons about 3. Simmons had more assists. Simmons played about 3 more minutes a game. So we'll get into that just a little bit and try to figure out maybe who won that trade. The Boston Celtics, they picked up a good talent there. They really did. Anthony Simmons can play. He can play. Oklahoma City, you know what they're doing today? You know what they're doing? About 11:30 our time, they had a parade. The parade is over now. And they have sprayed every last bottle of champagne on every street in Oklahoma City today. Folks were out en masse. I don't know what the count was on the people, how many hundreds of thousands or million. I don't know how many people were there. But they were having a good time. The players and coaches were having a good time, and they got to experience what we experienced back in 2016. So good for the folks in Oklahoma City, and now they'll get ready for their off season. All right, we have got a poll question today that has really taken off. And I kind of thought that it would because, A, we're in baseball season. B, we're always talking about changes that need to be made or changes that we would love to see happen under the MLB umbrella. And I thought today would be a good day to put that out. All right, the Guardians are getting back in action. Most teams are about at the 80-game mark of the baseball season. And there's been a lot of talk about salary cap over the years. Got to have one. There's been a lot of talk about possibly shortening the season. There's been talk about interleague play, which they've done and which they've expanded. There's been talk about, hey, get rid of the guys behind the plate calling balls and strikes. Let a computer handle it. And there's always been talk about, oh, my gosh, the ticket prices are so high. Oh, my God, you know what I paid for a hot dog and a beer at the stadium the other night? $29. There's always talk about that. And that's all over. That's not just in Cleveland. That's in every Major League Baseball park there is. So I thought today our poll question would be this. I nominate you the commissioner of Major League Baseball for one day. What is the first change that you make? A, shorten the season. B, implement a salary cap. C, begin computerized system of calling balls and strikes. D, cap prices of game tickets and concession stands. Now, obviously, in a fantasy land, I think for most of us, we would say A, B, C, D, or D, A, C, B, something in that order. But I really want you to kind of focus and bring this down to only one. If you feel the need to add multiples, that's okay. I get it. I understand it. But if I made you the Major League Baseball commissioner for one day, right now, I magically waved my wand and said, Steve, Hal, Chris, Amy, Megan, George, Tina, Luis, you are the baseball commissioner right now. What's the first thing you're going to do? And you may have some other ideas. I just gave you 4. And they are A, shorten the season. B, implement a salary cap. C, begin computerized system of calling balls and strikes. Or D, put a cap on the prices of game tickets and concession stand prices. What would you do first? Excuse me. And if you want to take it a step further, explain why. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can also text the program at 330-924-7088. And don't forget, go to our social media platforms. Go to Facebook, AM1310 WDPN. Get on there right now. Here's what if you go to WDPN's Facebook page right now, you can answer the poll question, you can watch the show, and you can listen to the show all in one place. That's pretty cool. That's 3 for 1. That's better than a buy one, get one. All you have to do is just go on WDPN Facebook page right now. You can watch and listen to us as well on the WDPN Twitter page. I mentioned the Facebook page, and if you are so inclined, you can go to the Q92 YouTube page, radio. So you got all those different ways to go. Excuse me. And you can drop your comments in there. You can take the quiz, and you can let us know how you feel. Not many times in life you get a chance, an opportunity to be the ruler. I'm putting you in charge. I'm letting you be the commissioner for Major League Baseball for a day. You got 24 hours. The time is ticking. You're the commissioner. What's the first thing you do? Shorten the season? Implement a salary cap? Begin a computerized way of calling balls and strikes? Or put a cap on game tickets and concession stand prices? What's the first thing that you do? 330-821-1310. I can't wait to read some of these answers. I read a few. I can't wait to read a few more. The Las Vegas A's have broken ground on their brand new stadium out in Vegas. So the folks out there are getting a little excited. Looking at probably 2028. They'll open that up. Now that's not a drop dead date, but they're thinking 28 at the very latest. They would open up the season in Vegas 2029. It's not that far away from Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. Not that far at all. Like if you get yourself a room at the Luxor or Mandalay Bay, Planet Hollywood, like you're within real quick walking distance. I shouldn't say quick. There's no such thing as a quick walk on the Strip in Vegas, but you get the idea. It's not a horrible walk. You could walk out your hotel, go to a Raiders game, go to a Las Vegas A's game, and Lord knows what else you can get into between points A and B. So they broke ground on their new stadium. So I guess that's about as official as we can get it now. The A's will be playing in Las Vegas either 2028 or 2029. Going to take a break. 23 minutes after 3. Just getting cranked up here on a hot and steamy Tuesday here in the Carnation City. You're listening to the Sam Bouquin Show at AM 1310 WDPN and streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suite? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
You're listening to the Sam Bouquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to the program, 1310 WDPN. We are streaming live at AM 1310 WDPN.com. We'll be with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Hey, check us out Monday through Friday, 3 until 6, right here on AM 1310 WDPN. Okay, question of the day. I just made you the commissioner of Major League Baseball. You got 24 hours. What's the first big change you're going to make? A, shorten the baseball season. B, implement a salary cap. C, begin computerized system of balls and strikes. D, cap prices of game tickets and concession stand prices. What's the first thing you're going to do? Think about that for a minute. 330-821-1310. We're going to be talking to Ben Axelrod from Awful Announcing. Ben will be joining us at 4:10 today. We'll talk a little guards. We'll talk a little Cavs offseason. And we'll talk about the way people continue to consume their sports on television, on the radio, on the stream. And we'll take a look ahead to the future, how you might be consuming your sports 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Ben Axelrod does a great job. Check him out at Awful Announcing on Twitter. Ben will be dropping by here at 4:10 this afternoon. All right, let's get to some of the replies on our poll question today. If I made you the commissioner of the day for Major League Baseball, what's the first thing you would do? I gave you 4 choices. You can add your own if you like. But the choices are A, shorten the season, B, implement a salary cap, C, begin computerized strikes and balls and strikes being called, D, cap prices of game tickets and prices at the concession stand. Eric Snodgrass says salary cap for sure, and also bring back Saturday afternoon baseball games. Thomas Herron takes a little detour. He says, make it more entertaining, maybe like the Savannah Bananas. Good call. Good call right there. Bill Lesh says, in this order, salary cap, computerized balls and strikes, and then shorten the season. Lori says, implement a salary cap, period. Tommy says, let the Guardians be the only team allowed to take steroids. I like that one. Matt Bessler says, implement a salary cap, no question. Mike Streb, he would shorten the season. Michael Myers, no, not that one. He says he would implement a salary cap. Brian Heckathorn says, Sam, I hate to do this to you, but A, B, C, and D. Love the show. Stephen Jones says, let's do a 100-game season, and let's make sure the World Series is over the first week of October. That's probably not going to happen. But I will tell you this. I would be very happy with a schedule of 140 games. I think you could somehow get the World Series done before the month of November. Doug says, definitely B, Sam. We need a salary cap. It's almost unfair, especially, well, you know where, Cleveland. John Tombo says, hey, Dolan just called me. He wants to implement a salary cap. He's had a salary cap since he bought the team. George says, C, let's get the umpires out of there behind home plate. Let the computer call balls and strikes. Jim Kincaid, B, the rich get richer. The smaller markets cannot compete. Most unfair part of baseball, give me a salary cap. All right, good stuff. Keep those results coming in. Keep the comments coming in. It is the Sam Bouquin Show poll question of the day. If I made you king for a day, if I made you the commissioner of Major League Baseball, what's the first thing you would change? What's the first big change? Shorten the season? Would you bring in a salary cap? Begin computerized balls and strikes? Or cap the prices of concession stand prices and game tickets? Hit us up at 330-821-1310 or stop by all of our social media platforms and you can leave a comment there as well. It's the bottom of the hour. Time to check in what's going on in your world with all the news, all the latest weather, and we'll come back with more of the Sam Bouquin Show right here on AM 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. President Trump is at the two-day NATO summit in the Netherlands, where recent unrest in the Middle East and the ongoing war in Ukraine will be at the top of the agenda. While on board Air Force One, the president was asked whether he believes in Article 5 of the NATO Charter, which stipulates that if one NATO member state is attacked, it is considered an attack on the entire body.
I'm committed to saving lives. I'm committed to life and safety. And I'm going to give you an exact definition when I get there. I just don't want to do it on the back of an airplane.
A fragile ceasefire between Iran and Israel appears to be holding. The deal initially faltered, and President Trump expressed frustration today with both sides, saying they have fought for so long and so hard that they do not know what they are doing. Israel had earlier accused Iran of launching missiles into its airspace after the truce was supposed to take effect. The Iranian military denied firing on Israel, but explosions boomed and sirens sounded across northern Israel in the morning. An Israeli military official said 2 Iranian missiles were intercepted. U.S. officials confirmed drones unsuccessfully targeted U.S. military bases in Iraq, this coming as U.S. troops in the Middle East remain on high alert. ABC News senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez has more from the Pentagon.
Some drones were intercepted by U.S. defensive systems as they approached U.S. bases, and they were unsuccessful. And we know that there were no U.S. military casualties in these incidents. Now, the question is, who did this? We are tracking some Iraqi media reports that there has been no claims of responsibility made, obviously raising some attention. Remember that U.S. military forces throughout the region remain on high alert, but the sense I'm getting from here at the Pentagon is that officials don't seem overly concerned right now. and think that it might be just a one-off situation.
The Trump administration has postponed classified briefings for Senate and House members today as lawmakers are looking for more answers about the president's directed strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities over the weekend and his announcement Monday the two countries had reached a ceasefire agreement. Multiple sources say both briefings were canceled and the Senate briefing has been rescheduled for Thursday, so Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio can attend. It is unclear when the House will be briefed. The temperature in New York City has reached 100 degrees as the eastern U.S. swelters under an extreme heat wave. According to the National Weather Service, Kennedy International Airport recorded 100 degrees Fahrenheit at midday today. Large swaths of the country were broiling under a heat dome, worsened by a humid atmosphere that's circling the east. After nearly 40 U.S. cities broke record high marks Monday, the Weather Service expected dozens of records today when the heat dome should hit its peak. It's 93 degrees in Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Aerial Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
A heat advisory remains in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Today's forecast calling for sunshine with a high near 94 degrees. Tonight, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms early, partly cloudy with a low around 73. Wednesday, a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny, a high near 88. Thursday, another chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny, a high near 86. That's your WDPN weather.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
This is the Sam Bouquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Okay. That was a wild commercial break.
There definitely was not a wasp.
We should have had somebody come in and record, but there's like nobody here. So Ryan found a wasp in the studio as soon as we went to commercial break. Well, first of all, he said, Sam, can you come over here? And I'm thinking, oh boy, what do we got going on the other side? Because I will tell you, the way we are set up in here, Ryan is on one side of the unit.
Call it a desk.
Yeah, it's a huge, and I'm on the other side. And there's plexiglass in between where he and I could make eye contact and give signals and do things. Well, the way that I have to set up my papers, it completely covers the plexiglass. So I do not see Ryan. Even though we are within an arm's length of each other, we cannot see each other. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on the other side. I don't see. I can't see. He says, can you come over here a minute? Okay. He says, what the hell's that? I said, what's what? He goes, what's that? And I looked up on the wall to my left, his right, and it's an insect, and it's doing that real creepy walk, like a sneaky, dun 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 kind of deal. And I got a little bit closer, and I said, that's a wasp. That thing needs to be put down. Well, we didn't have time to go get a fly swatter. We had a couple of, I guess, napkins in here. And I was like, nah, I don't want to take a chance, because if I can't get enough leverage over the part of the desk over there to get to the wall, I'm not going to get him all the way, and that might make things really, really bad. So I found what did I use?
That would have been a hole punch.
I used a hole puncher.
Yep.
And I picked it up, and I leaned over the desk here a little bit, and I got up as tall as I could, and I whacked him with that hole puncher. So I thought. He was still alive.
It was kind of like that. Have you seen Me, Myself, and Irene?
Yes.
It was like that.
Yes.
The cow.
So
wouldn't go down.
I thought I had him. I walked away like, hey, I'm the hero today. And I heard Rainsburg go, oh! Like, what? And there it was. It was still alive. Now it was on the table. So I pounded it a few more times with the hole puncher, and this thing just kept fighting. I'm like, that's it. So then I took a couple of the napkins and I took care of it. So we're good now. But that was one of the more peculiar, mean, slithery, menacing wasps I've ever seen. It just had that look to him that he meant business. So it's not that big in here. And if he wanted to attack, he could have easily attacked. And we don't want that going on during the show. Can you imagine us doing the show, fighting for our lives with a wasp? No. So we took care of it, and we're moving on. And that's it.
If he wanted to, he could have made this his show, and I'd have been okay with that. Like, the studio's yours. You can have it. It's all you, buddy.
Yeah, we had to eliminate the problem is what we did. Probably not the smartest way to do it, but we did it, because wasps, they don't discriminate. They see something they want to sting or come after or make miserable. They go ahead and do it. So we took care of that, and now we're back to business. We're back to cooking again here on the Sam Bouquin Show on 1310 WDPN. I do think if we could have had the video, that would have been pretty funny stuff. But then who knows what would have happened? Things could have taken a terrible turn, and we don't want to think about that. 330-821-1310 is our telephone number. That's 330-821-1310. Guardians and Blue Jays coming up tonight. Game one of a 3-game series at Progressive Field, and the Cardinals are in town. We've got our poll question of the day. If I made you the commissioner of Major League Baseball for one day, I give you 24 hours. What's the first change you're going to make? A, shorten the season. B, implement a salary cap. C, begin computerized system of calling balls and strikes. Or D, cap the prices of game tickets and concession stand prices. What's the first thing you would do? Now, Rainsburg, I know you don't go to sporting events. I don't believe.
You can say that.
Okay, so I said it. But let's just say that you did. I'll just give you a quick tutorial here.
Mm-hmm.
Major League Baseball season is 162 games.
No.
All right, so you could shorten it.
Yeah.
There is no salary cap, so the Dodgers can spend $500 million a year on players, and a team like the Pirates or the A's could spend $30 million. So if you put a salary cap, then there's a number. Once you get to it, that's it. You can't spend any more money.
Naturally.
And that's what the NBA has, and that's what the NFL has.
Oh.
So you could do that. C, you could get rid of the umpires behind home plate and have the computers call balls and strikes, which is it's really come up here a lot the last couple of years. Or D, you could put a cap on the prices of game tickets and concession stand prices, which would really be kind of cool. So which one do you think that you would do first?
It's either the salary caps or the tickets and concession price caps.
Okay.
It's that's a tough. Although thinking about the fact that the NBA and the NFL also already have salary caps, that's probably a no-brainer. The MLB is a little behind on that one.
It's the one thing I think could make Major League Baseball like front and center again.
And more competitive for sure.
I don't think it would become America's passion like football, but I think it could remain America's pastime and get a little bit better in the process. If you implemented a salary cap, pretty much what you're doing is before the season starts, and for most, it starts the very end of March or at least at the beginning of April. And there's another thing I would do. If I had more choices I could put on this quiz, it would be to start the season later because, well, playing baseball in the month of March quite possibly might be the dumbest thing that's done on any level of baseball, high school, college, or pro. The dumbest thing in the world, playing games in March. But I digress. So those are your four choices. But the salary cap, what you're saying is before teams go to spring training, which is in February, they get ready to play baseball in April. What you're saying is you all have a chance to go to the World Series. Theoretically, financially, you all have a chance. Without the salary cap, you see what happens. Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Angels, sometimes Cubs, Phillies, Giants, all can spend as much as they want to, and there are no repercussions. They can go out and get the best players. They can get the second best players, the third best players. They can spend. And it doesn't matter because there's no cap. Okay? There's no cap. In the NFL, once you reach a certain amount of money spent on your roster per year, that's it. You can't go over it. Now, the NBA has the salary cap. It's not necessarily a hard cap. There are a lot of ways. People have figured out a lot of ways to weasel in and out and around and about the salary cap in the NBA. I mean, you hear about the salary cap. You hear about this second apron. You hear about, come on, just make it a hard cap and let's move on. Because you got some very smart people out there that know how to what? Circumvent the circumstances. And that's exactly what they do. Pretty soon, you've got the NBA with the salary cap. You got the second apron. You've got this exemption, that exemption. And pretty soon, there's really like no cap. But if you put a salary cap in for baseball, all of a sudden, even for cheapskates like the Pirates, the A's, the Guardians, you got a chance. You got a chance. And it's not just going to be New York, LA, Boston, Chicago that are just front runners to grab all this talent and sign them to ridiculous contracts. Then a team like the Dodgers figure out, hey, let's go get Shohei Ohtani, but let's backload his pay. We'll pay him a little bit now. We'll give him a little bonus now. But the last couple of years of the contract, we'll backload it, and that's when we'll appropriate the funds. Now, you got to find somebody who's okay with that, and Shohei, well, he's okay with that. He wanted to go for the Dodgers. He knew he'd get the richest contract. He would just have to wait a little bit on the big mega payout at the end of the deal. Now, that money's all guaranteed, so it doesn't matter what happens. He's just going to get it later as opposed to right now. And if you had a salary cap, there's a situation there that teams would probably look to exploit. Once they got close to the cap number, they would start deferring, spreading out those payments down the road. AKA like the New York Mets did it with Bobby Bonilla. What, like 20 years ago? They're still paying him. They're still paying him, Bobby Bonilla. We always celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day. Google that if you don't know what I'm talking about. But the salary cap implementation in Major League Baseball, I think if I was commissioner for the day, although a couple of these other choices are pretty appealing for me, I would put the salary cap in and watch how things change and watch how much better they get. Watch how much more active fan bases are, and watch how much longer people are still in the game and interested in the game late. You made good changes with the wild card. Now, just imagine if you put a salary cap in. All of a sudden now, you're starting with 30 teams. Now you got 6 division winners between the American and National League, and each side's got 3 wild cards. Just imagine if you had a cap. How much more interesting the regular season would be. And then guess what? People like me probably wouldn't talk about you need to shorten the season. I mean, let's be honest. Do we really need 162 games to figure out the best teams? Probably not. Probably not. But if you I think the implementation of a salary cap eases the burden of A, the long season, C, the horrendous calls by the umpire behind home plate, and D, ticket prices for the games and prices for the concession stands. Now think about that. If you put a salary cap in, your salary base just shrunk by quite a bit. Now, to pay those escalating salaries, because there is no cap, all of a sudden now, you may not have to, and I say have to because greedy people will be greedy people, but you don't have to charge or overcharge an arm and a leg for a game ticket because you don't need to make up that mega pot of money because you're not going to be paying it out because there's going to be a cap. And then you don't need to gouge people at the concession stands for $9.25 for a hot dog or $15.75 for a 20-ounce beer. You see what I'm going here? You don't need to do that. That money's going to come back to your organization because your salary payout is going to go down. And guess what? Guess what? If the ticket prices come down, and I'm not saying a $100 ticket's going to come down to $30, but a $100 ticket could maybe come down to $65. A $50 ticket could come down to $28.50. Your club seats could come down from $2.20 to $1.50. Your bleacher seats could come down from $30 to $18. And guess what? Now people got more money in their pocket. I'm sorry. It's cashless now everywhere. They've got more money on their card. Now you're probably gonna want to go hit the concession stands a little bit more, and you might buy some more items. All of a sudden, and I'll have to use a cash reference here, that $20 bill or that $50 bill goes a long way at the concession stand, as it does now. If you're just in line, say you got your family of 3, family of 4, family of 5. If you just go up yourself, hey, honey, I'll be back. I'm gonna, blah, blah, blah. So you sneak away to the concession stand. You go down to put a quick order in. Give me some nachos, give me a hot dog, and give me a Gatorade. Right now, that little simple order I just gave you is probably going to cost you over $30. That's just for you. Think if there was a cap on those prices, you could slash them down a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, Dad's not sneaking away because he doesn't want to spend an enormous amount of money. Now the whole family can come down and get a little bit of that, get back to your seat, and you don't feel like you got completely ripped off. I know this makes way too much sense, and I know it'll probably never happen. But this is what we do. We just put things out there for discussion and get your input. And that's what we're doing here today. Poll question of the day. I make you MLB commissioner. You got 24 hours. What's the first big switch you make? Shorten the season, implement the salary cap, computerize balls and strikes, or cap prices of game tickets and concession stand prices. What do you think? 330-821-1310. You can also comment on all of our social media platforms. It's AM 1310 WDPN. It's the Sam Bouquin Show. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
This is the Sam Bouquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, we got a couple of minutes before we get you to the top of the hour. All the news, all the weather coming your way again. And again, it's a very hot, humid day. The UV rays are off the charts. Be careful if you're out and about today. Light clothing if you can, and stay hydrated. And again, check up on if you got some elderly neighbors, check out on pets. Just be checking out on everybody today, because it doesn't take long in this heat for things to go the wrong way. All right, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310 is the telephone number. Frank Ianni writes in, Sam, the only way that you can get sanity back in this game is to make these players all free agents. Put in a salary cap that every team can live with. and then only give 1-year contracts. For once, we are going to pay players for what they do rather than what they hope they can do. This will never happen, but it's the only situation. And Frank, thanks for dropping that in. Yeah, I agree. It'll never happen. But just think. You could apply this to all sports, I guess. But think if you only got paid on your production, and it would waver back and forth throughout the year. And your paychecks every 2 weeks would emulate your production. Like, let's say the first 2 weeks you're hitting 345, 5 home runs, 19 RBI, great on-base percentage. Okay, that paycheck's going to look pretty good. But if you go up there and swing it at 174, no home runs, 1 RBI, 15 strikeouts, then that paycheck is going to emulate your production. You wait and see how much harder that these guys try throughout the season. Tommy Michaelides says, Sam, salary cap would level the playing field, but the Guardians have had more than their fair chances to get it done. Hargrove had a team full of all-stars. Eric Wedge was up 3-1 in Boston and then had a big gag. Tito got outmanaged by Madden, only in Cleveland. Only in Cleveland. Tom Cackley says, Sam, love the show. Keep going. I like all your options. But the first thing I would do was ban all of the... What is this? I would ban all of the... I can't read that word. Dugout celebration BS. So there would be no putting on a robe or putting on a crown or carrying a scepter around if you get a home run. That's a lot of the guys now when they come into the clubhouse or they come in the dugout after hitting a home run, there's this big, wild, crazy celebration, which is okay. I don't mind it. But if I'm a manager and I'm down 10-0, somebody hits a home run for me in the 9th inning, and we're carrying on this crazy celebration, that's probably not going to sit too well with me. All right, we'll get back into this. 330-821-1310. We got the news. We got the weather coming up. Don't forget, around 4:10 today, from Awful Announcing, it's a great site, Ben Axelrod will join us, and we'll break everything down here in the world of sports. That'll be coming up at around 4:10. We got our Sam Bouquin poll question of the day, today in sports history, and a whole lot more coming your way. We'll take a break. It's the Sam Bouquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
An Alliance tradition for over half a century. You can always count on WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In the Netherlands, President Trump arriving at the palace for a NATO summit photo with world leaders. Earlier on Air Force One, the president warning Iran and Israel to hold to the ceasefire deal and says he does not want to force regime change in Iran.
If there was, but no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change takes chaos, and ideally we don't want to see so much chaos, so we'll see how it does.
The president is also expected to meet with Ukraine's President Zelensky on the sidelines of the NATO summit. Russia carried out fresh strikes in Dnipro, hitting a civilian train and killing at least 16. Severe heat leading to record-breaking temperatures in the Northeast. Philadelphia hitting 100 degrees and climbing. Amtrak also issuing temperature-related speed restrictions on trains in the Northeast corridor. It comes after an Amtrak train became stuck yesterday. Oil prices falling again due to the ceasefire between Israel and Iran. This is ABC News.
Macy's lowest prices of the summer on furniture and mattresses are here, which means you'll find great July 4th deals now on beautiful home updates, like the 7-piece Whitburn outdoor dining set, $19.99. Customer favorites like the Radley sectional, now $21.79. And 20 to 65% off top mattress brands like Sealy. And with Macy's white glove delivery, we'll set it all up and whisk away all that packaging too. But hurry in. These summer deals are going on now at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. A missing man from Canton is considered to be in danger. 26-year-old Ryan Godby was last in communication with a friend around 12:30 Friday morning. His mother told Canton police Godby left without his seizure medication and failed to appear at a Friday event in which he was to give 2 drag performances. Godby is 5'8", 175 pounds with long brown hair. He was last seen wearing a red t-shirt, black pants, and white Nike shoes. A man has been acquitted of a charge resulting from the shooting death of a dog in Plain Township. A Stark County Common Pleas Court jury last week found 27-year-old Gary Hudson of Plain Township not guilty of 1 count of cruelty to companion animals. The charge included a gun specification. Hudson shot the 55-pound pocket bully dog 4 times December 17th after he believed the animal was attacking a girl. The dog's owner said it was excited to see the girl and her sister as they returned home from school. The incident occurred on Middle Branch Avenue Northeast. The historic Timken Stables in Canton will be sold at a sheriff's auction. A date has not been set. The property on 17th Street Northwest is owned by the Beit Hakavad Messianic Synagogue. Rabbi Mark and Heidi Lancaster were involved in a lengthy court fight with the city over the condition of the building and their failure to make repairs. In March, Stark County Common Pleas Judge Kristen Farmer rejected the congregation's motion of a stay while awaiting a petition to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Lancasters claimed they faced religious discrimination. The 5th District Court of Appeals upheld Farmer's initial ruling in favor of the city. The Ohio Supreme Court declined to hear an appeal earlier this year. The Canton City Health Department is reporting a second instance of West Nile virus. Officials say the Ohio Department of Health confirmed a mosquito sample tested positive for the virus. It was collected as part of their mosquito surveillance program. The sample came from Barr Elementary School on 47th Street Northeast. The first positive case was on Sandwith Avenue Southwest. The initial round of mosquito spraying will be completed this week, and additional spraying will take place over the summer months. Health Department staff continue to larvicide and identify and remove areas of stagnant water. The Louisville School Board Monday dealt with personnel and financial issues. WDPN's David Schur reports.
The board accepted resignations from 5 individuals and 1 retirement, hired 31 staff members, and awarded 40 athletic supplemental contracts. Revisions to the fiscal year 2025 revenue and appropriation budgets totaled $19,487 and $98,152. While the 2026 permanent appropriations total $43,554,000 and the revenue budget totals $44,009,502.
Sebring Village Council will consider options for dispatching. During Monday's meeting, Canfield Police Chief Charles Colucci promoted his dispatch facility, taking over Sebring's territory, but did not issue a formal proposal. Council members raised questions about response times and dispatchers not being familiar with the Sebring area. Mayor David Wright says the village's dispatch center faces staffing issues and is in need of technology upgrades. Sebring could disband its facility and join Canfield or invest in the center using revenue from an additional police levy passed by voters last year. Council will begin discussing both avenues in the near future. A Portage County judge has labeled a man a danger to society and ordered him held without bond in the county jail until a July 16th pretrial hearing. The decision was made Monday for the case of 75-year-old Danny McFadden. He has pleaded not guilty to 24 charges, including rape and gross sexual imposition. They stem from an investigation by the Trumbull County Sheriff's Office. McFadden allegedly sexually assaulted and had inappropriate sexual conduct with several women and at least 1 child from 2017 to last month. Jury selection began today in Columbiana County Common Pleas Court for the murder trial of 35-year-old Elvin Tisdale. The Newell, West Virginia man is charged with aggravated murder in the slaying of 20-year-old Bryson Douglas of East Liverpool. He was found shot to death in East Liverpool in July 2021. A defense motion requesting DNA results for co-defendants Alan Tisdale of Lisbon and Travis Kidder of East Liverpool was denied by Judge Megan Bickerton. Alan Tisdale pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and complicity for a weapons charge and is scheduled for sentencing July 21st. Kidder is slated to be tried September 30th for obstructing justice. Bickerton also denied a defense motion seeking all investigative notes for all police in the case due to there being no body cam footage. A man fatally shot last week on Youngstown's south side has been identified. The Mahoning County Coroner's Office says 18-year-old Daylin Ford died at a local hospital of injuries suffered in the Wednesday morning incident. Police say he was shot in the 900 block of Lanterman Avenue. Multiple homes in the neighborhood were also struck by bullets. Police continue to investigate. They have not identified any suspects. A Pennsylvania man who skipped out on a 2015 trial on a drug charge has been sentenced to 5 years in prison. 52-year-old Irvin Kraft of Midland was handed the punishment today by Mahoning County Common Pleas Judge Maureen Sweeney. He pleaded no contest last month to a felony count of cocaine trafficking. Kraft was arrested during a January 2014 traffic stop in Beaver Township. Police found drugs and over $8,000 cash in his vehicle. Kraft was indicted and posted bond following his arraignment. A bench warrant was issued after he failed to show up for his trial in April 2015. Kraft was arrested in 2023. He plans to file an appeal. It's 93 degrees and Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. The forecast is next, a service of Canterbury Villa of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
A heat advisory remains in effect until tonight at 8 o'clock. Sunny skies this afternoon with a high near 94. Tonight, a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly cloudy, a low around 73. Chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon tomorrow with a high near 88. For Thursday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 86. Chance of rain, 60%. That's your WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bouquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bouquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bouquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Driven to right, Judge in steep retreat. Gone for De La Cruz. Triple single homer, his team leading 18th. He has erupted tonight. It's 5-1 Cincinnati.
Daily type of night here tonight.
I actually love it. I love it. When he's dirty, we're good. He can puke on the field all he wants.
High fly ball to right field. Pretty well hit. Tucker back. It is long gone. 2-run homer, Lars Nootbaar.
Earlier this month. Drive to center field, and Nick Gonzalez has a 5-hit game. Nicky G into second base with a double. He's 5 for 5.
There you go. There's those small market Pittsburgh Pirates. And they won last night, too. How about that? Welcome into the Sam Bouquin Show, everybody. It is hour 2. Hello, Alliance. Hello, Northeast Ohio. Hello, world. AM 1310, WDPN.com. Of course, you can watch and listen to us on the WDPN Twitter page, WDPN Facebook page, and you can listen and watch on the Q92 Radio YouTube page. All right, we got all that going for you today. We got our Sam Bouquin Show poll question of the day. We'll get to that here in a minute. Guardians and Blue Jays getting ready to open up a 3-game series in Cleveland tonight as the almost called them the Tribe. The Tribe will take on the Blue Jays in game 1 of a 3-game series. Then the Cardinals will come to town. NBA trade. The primary participants here, Drew Holiday, goes from the Boston Celtics to the Portland Trailblazers for Anthony Simmons. So a little bit of a big deal there. Oklahoma City Thunder having their celebratory NBA championship parade today. And don't forget, we've got our On This Day in Sports History coming up at around 5:27 this afternoon. And, of course, we're always taking your phone calls at 330-821-1310. And your text messages, our WDPN text line, always open for business at 330-924-7088. And don't forget, make sure that you give us a follow, a like, and a share. Drop some comments in on all of the 1310 WDPN social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube. Check us out every day of the week. And we appreciate you doing that. No question about it. All right. Ben Axelrod is kind enough to join us here on the Sam Bouquin Show on 1310 WDPN. Ben, managing editor for Awful Announcing. Check him out on X. It is a lot of good stuff there. Ben, thanks for taking the time on this. Feels like 107 degrees right now in our neck of the woods. How are we doing this afternoon?
Same as you. Trying to stay cool over here in Cleveland.
Oh man, it is sultry out there today. Okay, usually when you come on, we'll talk about Cleveland sports. We'll talk about the landscape, Browns, Guardians, Cavs, what have you, and we're going to get to that. But I thought with today's poll question, I want to get your reaction before we move down the road. Is that good?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, my man. Here we go. Today's poll question of the day. Ben, if I made you the Major League Baseball commissioner for one day, I give you 24 hours, what's the first change you would make? And here are your choices. A, shorten the season. B, implement a salary cap. C, begin computerized system of calling balls and strikes. Or D, cap prices of game tickets and concession stand prices. What are you doing first?
Ooh, my initial reaction was to go with the salary cap, but when you threw in those prices, that's what affects me the most as a father of two and a husband. So try to get my family over to the ballpark as much as we can. So I'll take those capped prices.
Okay, I'm with you. Like I'm a pig when it comes to this kind of question because I would go, okay, A, B, C, D. Let's move on to the next one. I want all those changes made. But it's I would say right now it's probably 70% of the people polled today so far they want to go with the salary cap, but a lot of people have talked about capping prices for tickets and concessions. Some would like to see, the balls and strikes go via the computer. There's some that, hey, let's shorten the season and get this thing wrapped up before the middle of the end of October. So we'll follow those poll results, and we'll get those out throughout the rest of the day. So let's start with the Guardians, Ben, and where we sit today. We're 39-37, still kind of chasing our tail with Detroit a little bit, 8.5. We are in the wild card hunt squarely. But I started to hear whispers and read things about Stephen Kwan could be on the move, maybe sooner than later. I'm hearing that most likely that Cleveland would go the seller's route instead of buying or staying put. Heard some other names bandied about as well. As we sit here today, late June, where does Ben Axelrod, what's your vision right now with the Cleveland Guardians? And where do they go from here, starting tonight against Toronto?
Yeah, it's really been kind of a strange season for them, where it's been right in line. I mean, the 39-37 record sounds about right. I mean, this has been a 500 team. I mean, they don't get swept too often, and they don't sweep series too often. They're either taking two or losing two, and that's usually how your record winds up being, right around where it is. And so typically I think I've been on with you 3 times now in the last couple of weeks, and I think I've kind of had the same answers. They're right where they need to be, and you'd like to see them make a run, but they're still relatively in striking distance. Maybe Detroit's starting to get a little out of reach, even though they still have a handful of games left against them. But we are getting to that point in the calendar where they have to decide: are we going to buy or are we going to sell? And I know that's. I don't know how certain people look at that, but the reality of this team and of the way this franchise operates is, I think each trade deadline, you do have to make that decision. You're typically not going to be sitting it out unless you feel really, really great about where you are. And so where they are right now is I do think they need to make that decision. I think they need to gather these next handful of weeks until the trade deadline and really decide, are we going to be buyers? Are we going to be sellers? Right now, I think I would lean slightly towards selling, although I don't like the idea of trading a guy like Stephen Kwan, who seems like a cornerstone of this franchise moving forward. But I do think right now you're slightly in the seller's phase, but you face Toronto and you sweep Toronto, and I'll be right back to buying. So I think you just got to figure it out one way or the other here.
It's weird. You got to go game by game. You got to go series by series. And our mood and our answers could change every other day. And they would all make sense because you're in the moment at the time. And you're like, okay, this is what I would do today. 3 weeks from now, okay, this is what I would do today. And you're a lot closer to the situation than I am. But from what I've been hearing, Stephen Kwan and or his group, they are not interested in going the Jose Ramirez route and giving Cleveland a hometown discount. And I've heard that more than a couple of times, and that's why I really kind of worry he might be on the move. I'm hoping and praying that it doesn't, but if it did, just for our discussion, Ben, what would somebody like Kwan get you back in return?
That would be interesting because, we know and we've seen over these last few years just how talented and how valuable of a hitter he is, but I don't know if he is that brand name baseball star, national star. His game isn't necessarily a very sexy game for lack of a better term. He's not a guy who's going to go out and hit you 30 home runs each season and stuff like that, but obviously he's a great hitter. The advanced analytics love him. And so I don't think he's going to get you a package that kind of resets your timeline and resets your core of your franchise and your minor league system. But I do think you're looking at a guy who's going to bring back probably, I would imagine at least a couple top prospects and maybe even an organization's top prospect, especially when you consider just how young he still is. And so, that would be that would obviously factor into whether or not you make that decision, but he would be a fascinating player to see how that would play out.
Ben Axelrod is our guest, managing editor at Awful Announcing. Check him out on X. So obviously ownership and general managers look at things differently than the fans. And I'm talking about every group in Major League Baseball. That would be 30 teams total. And I'm not comparing Kwan with Jose, but we really knew how good Jose was pretty early. Because why? Because we got to see him 162 games a year. It took, I think, some of the baseball world to catch on, especially the fans. Hey, this guy's pretty good. No, he's really good. Why haven't we heard more about Jose Ramirez? Well, now they know. Where does Stephen Kwan fit there yet? We're around him a lot more. We watch him a lot more. We appreciate and we understand what he gives us. What about from the outside looking in? How do they view a Stephen Kwan that way?
Yeah, he's definitely not in that Jose Ramirez class. Baseball is in such a strange place in terms of it has become such a regional sport that I don't even know how many national stars there are outside of the Ohtanis and the Aaron Judges. There are some really high level baseball players playing for other teams too, who, Like, it seems like they need to, have a full Hall of Fame resume before you even hear about them in other markets. And so I think, I think what's going on with Stephen Kwan in terms of his star power or lack thereof isn't necessarily unique to him or unique to Cleveland. But I think he's probably a guy who, if you're a diehard baseball fan or even a pretty strong baseball fan, you're aware of, and he's a good hitter. But if you're just a casual fan, it wouldn't surprise me if there are, fans who follow their teams closely, but only follow their teams who, are barely familiar with Stephen Kwan outside of the handful of times they play the Guardians each season. And I think it's more of a larger baseball conversation than it is necessarily a Stephen Kwan conversation at that point.
Ben Axelrod is our guest here on the Sam Bouquin Show, 1310 WDPN. All right, let's go to the TV viewing right now. Let's just stick with the Guardians for the sake of our discussion. What have you heard? What's the fan feedback on how the games have been televised this year, how they've been produced, directed, the pictures, the replays, everything like that? Do you think how much longer do you think it will be under the guiding ship of Major League Baseball? And is the Cleveland baseball franchise, are they closer or farther away from, getting back to maybe something like a Bally's or maybe a FanDuel picking them up or something along those lines? Where do we sit?
Yeah, I mean, this is a big conversation in sports in general, in terms of the RSNs, and it obviously most especially applies to baseball and to a lesser extent the NBA, although they seem to have figured that out. It seems like most teams are going to be with either FanDuel or have their own thing going on next season in the NBA. As far as baseball, it seems like the plan, which obviously MLB owns the Guardians' rights right now in terms of distributing them. It seems like that's what baseball wants to do, is they want to own as many rights as possible. I think that's obviously going to be easier said than done when it comes to the larger markets and the lucrative deals that teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers have been getting. But I think they pretty much want to get, what is available and what they think they can purchase back or own under their own banner, and then sell that out as a package, whether it's to an Amazon or a FanDuel. I would imagine someone with, a pretty strong streaming component. So I think that's probably the goal. I think this whole Guardians TV thing that they have going on this year, that feels more like a placeholder to get them to that point where MLB is able to sell a more significant package with more teams involved to one of those streamers. So that's where I see that shaking out. In terms of, the feedback, the biggest thing that I've heard from fans is just the analysis is a little too positive considering the kind of underwhelming nature of the season. And that's kind of that awkward thing where you do have guys who are technically team employees,
Sure.
calling the games. But that's the biggest thing I've heard. I haven't seen many issues with the technical direction and things of that nature.
The one thing that I did kind of notice, and I should have noticed it earlier, but I didn't now, I understand with the Guardians on road games, they're not doing like a true, there's no more studio post game. It's like they handle it from the stadium for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, and they're signing off. I assume that's going to remain that way at least the rest of this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you're starting to see a lot of these local networks, and especially a team like the Guardians, who's basically built its own operation, kind of cut costs. And I know in other markets they no longer have a in-game reporter the way the Guardians have Andre Knott, and cutting back on just general sideline reporters during NBA games. So that's another thing. I mean, as we hit this marker with TV and everybody tries to figure out RSNs and how to make these things profitable, that's ultimately decisions get made. And sometimes it does wind up for a lesser product where, like you mentioned, they don't have a studio show even for some of the road series.
Ben, do you see a future next year, maybe 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the road, maybe sooner, that let's just say a team like the Guardians, you will have, say, 50 games on this platform, you'll have 65 on this platform, you'll have 35 on this platform, and I'm talking, the mix of TV, of streaming, of maybe a pay-per-view package. Is that where we're going here, especially with a team like Cleveland or some others?
I think in terms of local, I would imagine they would like to keep it all in one place. I'm not sure how appealing that would frankly be to the streamers, because then you get into a place where, what package are you getting? Are you getting these lesser packages? Do you have an ABC type of tier? How does that work? I mean, we're at that point, obviously, with teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Red Sox and the teams who fill out the national schedules, where, I think that Yankees-Red Sox series a couple of weeks ago, you had a game on Apple, a game on Fox, and a game on ESPN.
Right, exactly.
All in consecutive days. Yeah, so that would be a really tough, I think, from a local standpoint, especially when you're talking about a team like the Guardians that probably plays 155, 150 of its games on local television, to divvy that up and split it across platforms. Like, you'd really be stretching a lot of budgets thin at that point from a streaming standpoint. But, that's also that's never stopped these leagues before. So obviously if the money's there, then why not, I guess, at that point, if you're the league and if you're the streamers. But I think, to do that, not only across 150 games or 162 games for the Guardians, but then you have all the other teams too. I think that would be really tough to maneuver and pull off.
Ben, one more question. We'll let you go. I'm going to slip over to NBA here real quick. And I saw the final TV rating for Game 7 when it peaked was pretty strong. I think I stat one of the most watched NBA games in a long, long time as far as Game 7 is concerned. I know the ratings struggled the first 3, 4, maybe 5 games, but what was your overall take on the series and how it was viewed? And was it good? I thought it was pretty cool to see a couple of small market teams duking it out for the Larry O'Brien Trophy. How about you?
Yeah, it's really fascinating because the overall ratings for the series were not great, but that Game 7 was the most watched NBA game of any NBA game since 2019. So we're talking pre-COVID. Mm-hmm. So definitely a yin and yang. Like, if that series doesn't go to Game 7, then I think we're looking at this series from a market and a success standpoint way different. But just the fact that it did go to Game 7, and that just by going to Game 7, it drew such a massive number, such a massive audience, and kind of helped propel that series. I think it's a success. I think it, especially when you look at Oklahoma City and the fact that they'll probably be back in the finals, for the next couple of years, it seems like. And now you do, a lot of, 16.4 million people now watch that and have a relationship with them. I think it's a success. So had it not gone to Game 7, we'd be having a much different conversation. But just the fact that it went 7 games alone and that showed the interest in the product, I think that's a feather in the cap for the league.
No doubt. And just to piggyback off of that, I think the peak was 19.8 million. Ben, can you imagine if a healthy Tyrese Halliburton could have played this whole game? They would have done well over a 2021 plus, I think.
Yeah, that peak came in the middle of the first quarter. So probably right around the time Tyrese Halliburton got injured. And you hit the nail on the head. It wasn't even that close of a game. So if you had a closer game, that number, that it would have hit 20 and then some.
No doubt. Ben Axelrod, check him out at Awful Announcing on Twitter. On X, does a great job, puts out some great content. Make sure you give him a follow and check out his stuff. Ben, as always, we appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Sam.
You bet. Ben Axelrod from Awful Announcing. We'll take a break. The news and weather coming up next on 1310 WDPN.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. President Trump has arrived in the Netherlands for a two-day NATO summit laden with uncertainty over Iran's response to U.S. airstrikes, the fate of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the future of U.S. troops based in NATO countries. Trump's first appearance at NATO was supposed to center on how the U.S. persuaded allies to spend 5% of their GDP on the defensive alliance. Now his efforts to secure a ceasefire between Iran and Israel dominate. Earlier today, President Trump said he is unhappy with Israel, saying the Israelis violated a ceasefire with airstrikes on Iran in retaliation for an Iranian missile launched after the ceasefire took effect.
I think they both violated it. I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it.
U.S. officials confirmed drones unsuccessfully targeted U.S. military bases in Iraq. This comes as U.S. troops in the Middle East remain on high alert. Some drones were intercepted by U.S. defensive systems as they approached U.S. bases, and they were unsuccessful. There were no U.S. military casualties. Iraqi media reports that there's been no claims of responsibility made. Congressional lawmakers are reacting to the U.S. strikes on Iran. Many of them say President Trump abused his power by not briefing them on the actions first. Some lawmakers are also calling for Congress to formally approve any U.S. action in the region. Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia has issued a resolution that would assert Congress's power to do so under the War Powers Act. ABC's Jay O'Brien says that measure may not have much support from Republicans now, but adds it's unclear what could happen.
The energy amongst certain congressional Republicans to even address this war powers question has somewhat kind of left the building because they don't view this as an issue that needs to be tackled in the immediate because they don't see any more U.S. strikes on the horizon because of this ceasefire. Now, if the ceasefire doesn't hold, you might see some of those Republicans that were inclined to talk about this war powers issue, that would be inclined to back a kind of Kaine resolution, get back on board.
New York City voters will decide whether Andrew Cuomo has done enough to make a political comeback by winning the Democratic mayoral primary. The former governor is trying to reboot his career by defeating upstart liberal darling Zohran Mamdani and a crowded field of establishment candidates in the city's primary today. The winner will go on to face incumbent Mayor Eric Adams, who is running as an independent in the November general election. Cuomo has been the frontrunner throughout the race, with his experience, name recognition, political connections, and fundraising apparatus vaulting him to the front of the pack. It's 92 degrees in Alliance at 4:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Weather forecast, including a heat advisory, continuing until 8 o'clock tonight. Otherwise sunny today, a high near 94. Tonight, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy, a low 73. Wednesday, chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon with a high near 88, chance of rain 60%. Thursday, another 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high near 86. That's your WDPN weather.
Got big dreams of a better career? Whether you're looking to learn new skills or level up in your current field, Ohio Means Jobs, Stark and Tuscarawas counties is here to help you turn that daydream into your day job. We'll take care of your training costs so you can focus on building the skills you need for a brighter future in fields such as healthcare or skilled trades. Call us or visit our website at omjwork.com to learn more, because your future is closer than you think.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suite? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
You're listening to the Sam Bouquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, we're back, 1310 WDPN. And don't forget, check us out on all of our social media platforms. WDPN on your radio, on Twitter, on Facebook. And don't forget about the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. You can text the show at 330-924-7088. Thanks to Ben Axelrod from Awful Announcing for joining us for a segment. Always love talking to Ben because you can kind of take the conversation a lot of different ways, and we certainly appreciate Ben giving us some time here today on 1310 WDPN. Question of the day, our poll question of the day. Getting a lot of real good results today. Good stuff. We appreciate that. Your question today is, if I made you commissioner for Major League Baseball for one day, what's the first change you would make? And I've given you 4 choices. A, you can shorten the season. B, you can implement a salary cap. C, you can go to computerized pitch calls, balls and strikes. Or D, you can cap the prices of game tickets and concession stand prices. What's the first thing you would do? What's the first thing you could do? And if you want, you can go in order chronologically and let me know. Like, okay, you want to put a cap in first. You want to have computerized balls and strikes second. You want to shorten the season third. And fourth, you want to cap the prices of tickets and concessions. Anything you want to come up with. It's free game. But I'm just kind of asking, if I made you commissioner for Major League Baseball for the day, what's the first thing you would do? What's the first big change you would make? Now, we're doing baseball today. Maybe next week we'll do basketball. And then maybe in a couple of weeks we'll do football, maybe as we get closer to the football season. I got to be honest with you. I don't think there's a whole lot of things that need changed in for the National Hockey League. I take that back. Hockey, never mind. You could shorten the season for sure. Now, I believe NHL has a salary cap. And you could probably cap prices for tickets. And so I would come up with a little different scenario for NHL. But like, they've got a cap already. You don't have to worry about balls and strikes in the NHL. Okay. But yeah, so we'll take it sport by sport. We'll give you a couple of weeks in between so we don't burn you out on the same thing. But I think the next one we do will be NBA, because the season just ended. Okay. And then a couple of weeks down the road, I'll tell you what, we'll go baseball today. Then we will do NBA. Then we'll do NHL. And then we'll do NFL. So we're doing the NFL like right around when the season starts. So just kind of put that in your pocket. That'll be some of our poll questions coming up here down the road. As far as the 4 choices that I gave you, shorten the season, implement a salary cap, computerized balls and strikes, or cap the ticket and concession stand prices. We talked about the effects, the positive effects of a salary cap. What about taking the season of 162 and let's try to get it down to 150? Still, very workable number of games to find out who are the best teams in baseball. I don't think knocking 12 games off of the 162 is going to make it more difficult to figure out, to find out, to see who the best teams are. And I get the tradition part of it. Hey, it's 162. It's game 30 of 162. The All-Star break, you're about the halfway point. I get it. That's what I grew up with. But let's be honest here. Do we really need 162? Do you really need? 162 games to figure out who the best teams are. I'm leaving that open. Do we really need that many? Now, the first people that squawk are going to be who? The owners. You'd be ripping away home games, gate, revenue, money. Because Lord knows they don't have enough already. You'd be hitting them in the pocketbook. I think 150 is a good number. I think it's a good number. That would allow you to start the season in April. We don't need to be playing games in March. We don't. We don't need to even think about playing games in the month of March. Oh, wasn't that cool when we had 8 inches of snow for opening day? Yeah, that was great. Please give me more of that. Oh, look at those people out in the stands. They're dressed for a football game in Antarctica. Oh, isn't that fun? That's great. Yeah, that's great. Please give me more of that too. Oh, look at all the empty seats. They don't support their team. Yeah, that's great. We don't need to be playing games in March. So stop that whole thing. You play 150, you at least wait till the second week of April. You want to keep your 3 wild cards? Okay. You want to keep the playoff system the way you have it? Okay. Now you're going to be done before November. Everything is going to be done. You're actually going to be playing the World Series. You're going to be done with the World Series maybe by the 3rd week of October. And quite honestly, that's when it needs to end. We start the season in some places with snow. We end the season in some places with bitter cold rain and maybe a pop-up snow flurry. That's not what Nelson Doubleday had in mind. He didn't. That's not how this is supposed to work. So let's figure out a way. And if you don't want to shorten, if you want to shorten the season, but you don't want to take away the games, well, now the players aren't going to like this. Let's implement some traditional double headers. Let's play two for one. I don't care if it's a Saturday afternoon doubleheader, a twilight doubleheader during the week. Obviously, back in the day, you played Sunday doubleheaders. And that might make it a little difficult on scheduling to get into your next city as early as you want. But what's the matter with sprinkled in 3 or 4, maybe 5 doubleheaders? The players aren't going to want that. I'm just trying to figure out a way here so we can fix all this in one fell swoop. All right? What do you say? 330-821-1310. 330-821-1310. You're on the Sam Bouquin Show. Good afternoon. Who's this?
This is Jim in Akron.
Hey, Jim. How are you, bud?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. Hey, in theory, I like what you're saying, but from the business standpoint of it, they're never going to cut any games.
No, they won't unless somehow they can recoup the revenue, and that's what I'm trying to figure out a way here. But obviously, there's people out there a lot smarter than me that can figure that out.
Well, sure, and understood there, but see, that's where, and I say this jokingly, you're showing your age because that's why, like with the traditional doubleheaders, to go 2 games for 1 ticket. Yeah, sure, okay. They're going to really do that, and it's like, and like I say, see, that's where I can tell you're talking from a true fan standpoint, because like you say, I mean, when you look at okay, you can get like one of the cheaper hot dogs and this and that and the other, but believe me, for the price they pay for a lot of that stuff when they buy in bulk, as far as like with the getting a hot dog and a beer or whatever
Sure.
and stuff like that, that it's still, like I say, even when they do the dollar dog night, they're still making plenty of.
Oh, sure they are.
As far as that goes, but the thing is, it's gotten so in this era and time that it's like, I don't know, like, and it would, I like the idea. It would certainly be, because to me, I think you ought to go, you mentioned 150. They could go lower than that, because, but the thing is, when you're making so much, like with TV contracts and stuff like that, on top of like even like the national telecasts and stuff, that let alone the local ones, because I can see there again, I can remember, and I'm sure you can too, that years and years ago, before pre-ESPN, pre-Fox, and any of the other, and, now I can remember when you only had 3 networks, and you had, I can remember when the old Channel 43 and Channel 61 first came on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now,
see, we're pretty close. I think, Jim, you and I are pretty close in age, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm about, no, I was just going to say, I think I'm about 8 or 10 years older than you, but we're still in that time frame enough that, you can remember the Saturday afternoon games on NBC with Tony Kubek
and Joe Garagiola. Sure.
Yes. And the games, and I remember for a time when ABC did some baseball for a while.
Oh yeah, they did Monday Night Baseball. It was really popular back then. But I will say this though, Jim. I will say this, and this is I know where I have obviously changed my viewing habits over the years. I don't know that you could get me to sit down now on a Saturday afternoon and watch baseball on TV.
No, well,
there's too much other stuff to do. The weather's too nice. I don't want to be inside. You want to play at night, okay, but I'm not going to sit inside during the day.
Well, no, I understood there, and I've gotten like that as well. But see, now to me, the difference is baseball is a tough sport to watch on television because of the slower pace. To me, baseball,
it's gotten better though. It's gotten better a little bit.
Yeah, they have gotten. Yes, they have.
It's gotten better.
But it's like, baseball is something you have on the radio while you're, washing the car or doing something.
Right.
Or
it's
whatever,
a companion.
Kind of tip back.
Right.
Yes. Or like you say, when you go to see there again, you talked about like with concessions and stuff. See, I go grouchy old man mode. When I am at a game, I go to watch the game. If I want to get something to eat, I'll do it before or after. It drives me nuts when somebody's up and down in the middle of the aisle. 14, you're trying to watch the game, right? Yeah. And I always like to get aisle seats. And here, 14 times up and down the aisle. Wait, and this was always my line on this. Wait till between innings or when they're making a pitching change.
Yeah.
Then if you got to go to the bathroom, go get a hot dog, do it then.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. And if I get back and the game's still, I'll wait till the break in the game. I won't walk in front of somebody. I just can't do that. To pay the money that you pay to go to a game, and then every 2.5 minutes you got somebody, excuse me, want out.
I feel your pain. I do, because especially, a lot of us like that. I mean, I used to like to sit on the aisle. I kind of still do.
Sure.
But we've learned a little trick over the years. Sometimes if you go to about seat 6, 7, or 8, you don't have as much traffic going in front of you during the game as you may if you're sitting on the aisle. So we kind of learned that trick over the years. Another thing that we do, especially not necessarily if we go up to a Cleveland game, but we've kind of doing a little stadium tour here, our family, the last 10, 11 years, and we've knocked about 10 parks out. We got a long way to go, but we will go like extremely early, and we will like stuff our face for like 90 minutes, and then the game starts, and we're good to go.
Sure. Well, I have an uncle that would do that. That whether he'd go to a Guardians game or a Browns game, he'll go get a bratwurst, a hot dog, a good hot dog, and not that cheap little quarter hot dog, and a beer before the game. Then that way, once the game starts, you can pay attention to the game.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and,
as you brought that up, I'm
Okay.
just sitting here thinking, you know what? Baseball as a sport, even though they've amped up the pace of play, I think baseball is still like the only sport where you can kick back and have something to eat and drink and enjoy it while you're watching the game. Forget about that with the NFL or the NBA because there's too much going on.
No,
and
sure.
you can't
And
really
you know
enjoy what you've got there in front of you.
Well, not understood. But you know what drives me nuts, even more with basketball, is it's like, see there again when we go to a game, say up when the Cavs played at the Coliseum in Richfield, you go. You had the game. You didn't have. Now it's like they got to do all this stuff during the timeouts, all this stuff during. I didn't go for that. If I wanted to see that stuff, I'd have went to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey.
Now you're showing your age, Joe.
Now, yeah. Oh, I know. But,
see, I still kind of enjoy the goofy stuff. I see what you're saying.
You know, it's like I don't go to hear, screaming and hollering, and the guy sounding like he's at a WWE match or something, screaming. If I want to see that, I'll go see that.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, I appreciate the call. Take care of yourself up there in Akron and stay cool on a hot day like today.
We're working on it, my friend. You have
got
a
it.
good one.
There he goes, Jim in Akron, and here on the Sam Bouquin Show, 1310 WDPN. He came on telling me I'm showing my age. Jimbo. See, I still kind of like the circus carnival atmosphere at the NBA games. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with it, especially as many timeouts as they call. I don't want to be just sitting there like waiting for, you know what I mean? So they do a nice job. Cleveland does a nice job. And if you've been to enough NBA arenas, or if you've seen enough clips on YouTube or whatever, every NBA arena, it's a copycat. Everybody does the same thing. They might do it in a different order. They might do fewer. They might do more. They might take a little longer, but they all do the same thing. They all do the kiss cam. They all do the staged enemy fan where you drop the popcorn and the pop on their head by mistake, allegedly. They all do the guy proposing to somebody and she turns him away. They all do the same games and the same races in between timeouts. They all do the same stuff.
Wait.
It's just different places, that's all.
They do like proposal fake outs where
sure.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, that's
what you're getting into. When you go to an NBA game, you're going to get basketball, you're going to get music, you're going to get screaming and hollering, you're going to get contests. Hell, with Cleveland, as long as I've been going to games at the Q or whatever they call it now, Rocket Arena, I've had fake snow fall on my head during a game. I've had instant lottery tickets come in on like little balloons dropping. I've seen it all, and it's like that in every NBA arena. And again, for as many timeouts as they call, I'm good. I'm good with it. Let's take a break. 5 minutes till the top of the hour. 330-821-1310. It's the Sam Bouquin Show. Hope you're staying cool, everybody. 1310 WDPN.
Must be the love. Yeah. Must be the love right now.
There's so much to love in Ohio because the heart-shaped state is the heart of adventure with 76 free state parks, amusement parks, ballparks, and more. The heart of opportunity with great jobs and a low cost of living. Ohio is the heart of it all. Follow your heart at ohio.org.
Sponsored by Tourism Ohio and aired by this station.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below, you take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
This is the Sam Bouquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to the program. We're with you for a couple of minutes. We'll take a break for the top of the hour news and weather. Then we'll all reconvene for the final 60 minutes here on 1310 WDPN. Phone lines open, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. 93 degrees right now. It is very, very warm. Very, very humid. If you are out today, please be careful. Check on loved ones. Check on the elderly in your neighborhood. Check on the pets around the neighborhood. Make sure you are staying hydrated if you can. Maybe help some others stay hydrated as well. It's common sense. We go through this every year, right? We go through this in the winter. We got to check on each other. We got to take care of each other with the cold, the snow, the ice, the wind. It happens every year. Nothing new. But just use your common sense and help out when you can. Keep your eyes open for things and just kind of do your part, and that makes everything go okay. So again, if you're out and about today, if somebody needs some help, they need some water, they need some shade, something, make sure you do your part and help them out. One more big hour to go here on the program. We will get back into our Sam Bouquin Show poll question of the day. That'll be coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll take a little closer look at the Guardians, Blue Jays, and Cardinals, as that'll be the big week coming up here at Progressive Field. Do the Guards, are they interested? Will they deal somebody like a Stephen Kwan? We'll talk about that. And we'll get some news coming out of the NBA, another trade made between Portland and the Boston Celtics. We got all that and much more. Plus, on this day in sports history, all next here on the Sam Bouquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN, and streaming live all over the world at AM1310WDPN.com.
Keeping Alliance entertained and informed for over a half a century. AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. An initial highly classified report by the Defense Intelligence Agency and U.S. Central Command suggests that, according to two people familiar with the early assessments, the U.S. military strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities likely only set the program back by months. GOP Senator John Thune asked about if he agreed with President Trump's assessment that nuclear sites were obliterated.
Well, I'm not sure I have, you might want to hear from Senator Cotton, who chairs the Intelligence Committee, an answer on the full extent. But we know for sure that their nuclear program was set back considerably, and that is a victory.
President Trump in the Netherlands for the start of the NATO summit. Earlier, he criticized Iran and Israel for violating, he says, the ceasefire hours after it began, urging both nations to keep to the agreement. Severe heat breaking records in the Northeast. Philadelphia hitting 100 degrees. Advisories urging people to conserve energy. This is ABC News.
Macy's lowest prices of the summer on furniture and mattresses are here, which means you'll find great July 4th deals now on beautiful home updates, like the 7-piece Whitburn outdoor dining set, $19.99. Customer favorites like the Radley sectional, now $21.79. And 20 to 65% off top mattress brands like Sealy. And with Macy's white glove delivery, we'll set it all up and whisk away all that packaging too. But hurry in. These summer deals are going on now at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. Canton police are looking for a man who is missing and considered to be in danger. His mother told police 26-year-old Ryan Godby left home without his seizure medication and failed to appear at a Friday night event in which he was to give 2 drag performances. He is 5'8", 175 pounds with long brown hair. Godby was last seen wearing a red t-shirt, black pants, and white Nike shoes. Godby was last in communication with a friend around 12:30 Friday morning. Not guilty is the verdict for a Plain Township man who shot and killed a dog. 27-year-old Gary Hudson was acquitted of the charge last week by a jury in Stark County Common Pleas Court. It included a gun specification. On December 17th, Hudson shot a 55-pound pocket bully dog 4 times on Middle Branch Avenue Northeast in Plain Township. He believed it was attacking a girl. The owner said the animal was excited to see the girl and her sister as they returned home from school. A sheriff's auction will be held for the historic Timken Stables in Canton. The decision follows a long legal battle between the city and the building's owners, Rabbi Mark and Heidi Lancaster. The property on 17th Street Northwest housed the Beit Hakavad Messianic Synagogue. The Lancasters were accused of failing to maintain the facility and make necessary repairs. They alleged they were the subjects of religious discrimination. Stark County Common Pleas Judge Kristen Farmer in March denied the congregation's motion of a stay while waiting on a petition to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Ohio Supreme Court declined to hear an appeal earlier this year. The 5th District Court of Appeals upheld Farmer's original ruling in favor of the city. A date has not been set for the auction. West Nile virus has again been confirmed in Canton. According to the City Health Department, the Ohio Department of Health said a sample collected as part of their mosquito surveillance program tested positive for the virus. This is the second local instance of West Nile virus. The first positive case was on Sandwith Avenue Southwest. The latest was at Barr Elementary School on 47th Street Northeast. Health Department staff continue to larvicide and identify and remove areas of stagnant water. The first round of mosquito spraying will be completed this week. Additional spraying will take place over the summer months. A fatal crash has a former Stark County and Ohio State University football standout in court. 40-year-old Kirk Barton posted bond and is out of jail with another court date scheduled for next Tuesday. He's charged with aggravated vehicular homicide in the death of a 24-year-old man early Saturday. Police said Barton had slurred speech and admitted drinking alcohol before the wreck. He was allegedly driving on the wrong side of the road at a high rate of speed as his vehicle entered historic Dublin just before 3 a.m. Barton hit the other vehicle on West Bridge Street. A man will continue to be held in jail without bond after he was declared a danger to society. A Portage County judge Monday issued the ruling concerning 75-year-old Danny McFadden. He faces 24 charges following an investigation by the Trumbull County Sheriff's Office. The charges include rape and gross sexual imposition. McFadden is accused of sexually assaulting and having inappropriate sexual contact with multiple women and at least one child. The alleged crimes occurred from 2017 to last month. McFadden has pleaded not guilty. A pretrial hearing is scheduled for July 16th. The trial is underway for a West Virginia man accused in an East Liverpool murder. Jury selection began today in Columbiana County Common Pleas Court for the case of 35-year-old Elvin Tisdale of Newell. He's charged with aggravated murder in the July 2021 shooting death of 20-year-old Bryson Douglas of East Liverpool. Judge Megan Bickerton denied a defense motion seeking all investigative notes for all police in the case due to there being no body cam footage. She also rejected a motion asking for DNA results for co-defendants Alan Tisdale of Lisbon and Travis Kidder of East Liverpool Liverpool. Alan Tisdale is scheduled for sentencing July 21st after pleading guilty to involuntary manslaughter and complicity for a weapons charge. Kidder is set to stand trial for obstructing justice September 30th. Voters in Sebring will be asked to pass 2 levy renewals this fall. Village Council Monday approved resolutions asking the Mahoning County Auditor to certify the total current tax valuation of Sebring and determine revenue that would be generated by a 3 mil fire levy and a 1 mil parks and recreation levy. Both taxes would be on the books for 5 years. Council will consider putting the levies on the November ballot after the information is compiled. Lawmakers also agreed to purchase a skid unit and turnout gear for the fire department at a cost of $19,000, agreed to put a charter amendment on the November ballot, eliminating the village's Civil Service Commission, and voted to accept a grant from the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council. The Mahoning County Coroner's Office has identified the victim of a fatal shooting in Youngstown. 18-year-old Daylin Ford was shot Wednesday morning in the 900 block of Lanterman Avenue on the city's south side. He was taken to a local hospital where he died. Police say several homes in the neighborhood were also struck by gunfire. No suspects have been identified. An investigation continues. A Mahoning County judge has issued punishment to a man who was on the run for 8 years after leaving town ahead of his trial on a drug charge. Common Pleas Judge Maureen Sweeney today sentenced 52-year-old Irvin Kraft of Midland, Pennsylvania to 5 years in prison. He plans to file an appeal. Kraft pleaded guilty to a felony count of cocaine trafficking last month. Beaver Township police arrested him during a traffic stop in January 2014. They found drugs and more than $8,000 cash in Kraft's car. The grand jury indicted him. Kraft was arraigned and posted bond, but never appeared for his April 2015 trial. A bench warrant was issued and he was arrested in 2023. An edict by the Youngstown police chief limiting overtime hours violates the patrol officers' union contract. An attorney for the city issued the opinion concerning the 28-hour-per-week limit issued in April by Police Chief Carl Davis in an effort to reduce department spending. Davis says the city's staffing level is low due to pay that is not competitive with surrounding communities. The total spent in overtime for the department last year was $3.25 million, up from $2.94 million in 2023. 15 officers made more than $50,000. The Vindicator reports some work as much as 80 hours a week. The ruling also applies to ranking officers. An hours-long SWAT situation in the Cleveland area ended today with a man shooting himself. For hours, police negotiated with the armed man who was driving a black pickup truck. Standoff ended in the area of Tiedemann and I-480 when the man waved a white flag and then turned the gun on himself. A witness told WOIO-TV the truck was involved in a high-speed chase with police prior to a crash. Standoff scenes centered around several crashed vehicles, including the pickup truck. A controversial mining operation in Toledo is now seeing questions from a federal agency. At least 3 individuals within local government have been contacted by the FBI in connection to the Rocky Ridge Development Project. Rocky Ridge Development LLC has been extracting sand and clay from 3 parcels off Angola Road, land that is currently zoned only for residential use. The mining activity, ongoing since at least 2022, does not comply with city zoning laws. Operations have nonetheless continued, backed by a state-issued mining permit and air pollution permits from the city and the EPA. Residents have raised concerns about dust, water quality, and lime deposits from the water treatment plant being dumped into excavation pits on the property. A rezoning is expected to come to a vote by Toledo City Council next month. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 43,089, up 507 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 282 points higher at 19,912, and the S&P 500 closed at 6,092, up 67 points. It's 92 degrees and Alliance at 509. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
A heat advisory remains in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Today's forecast calling for sunshine with a high near 94 degrees. Tonight, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms early, partly cloudy with a low around 73. Wednesday, a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny, a high near 88. Thursday, another chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny, a high near 86. That's your WDPN weather.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bouquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bouquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bouquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Driven to right, Judge in steep retreat. Gone for De La Cruz. triple single homer. His team leading 18th. He has erupted tonight. It's 5-1 Cincinnati.
Daily type of night here tonight.
I actually love it. I love it. When he's dirty, we're good. He can puke on the field all he wants.
High fly ball to right field. Pretty well hit. Tucker back. And it's long gone. 2-run homer, Lars Nootbaar.
Earlier this month. Oh, my. Drive to center field, and Nick Gonzalez has a 5-hit game. Nicky G into second base with a double. He's 5 for 5.
And welcome into hour 3 of the Sam Bouquin Show right here on 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM 1310 WDPN.com. Welcome in. Hope you are staying cool. Hope you're staying hydrated. And most importantly, I hope you're staying comfortable. It is hot out. Now, we're going to get a little break tomorrow. And I stress little. It's only going to be like 89 tomorrow instead of 94. Okay? And then it's going to go right back up to 90 again. So we're going to get like a 24-hour real small reprieve with the heat, and then it's going to crank back up again. But it is what it is. We go through this every year together. Again, as we have been asking you yesterday, and we'll ask you again today, be mindful. If you see some folks that need some help, need some hydration, check on the elderly in your neighborhood, check on the pets, all those things. And if you see a little situation where you might need to help step in and do something, by all means, do that if you can. But welcome into the show, everybody. Phone lines are open for you at 83. I do that every day at 5 o'clock. I say 83. No, it's 821-1310. 821-1310. You can also text the program at 330-924-7088. Sam Bouquin here. Ryan Rainsberg over on the other side of the glass. We welcome you into the program. We'll be with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Guardians, Blue Jays coming up. Game 1 of a 3-game series there. Then the Cardinals come to town. So we'll see where we are by next Monday with this Guardians team, who is 39-37 right now. 8.5 behind the Tigers, but they're sitting right good as far as the wild card is concerned. Our Sam Bouquin Show poll question of the day. A lot of good response on Twitter today, on Facebook. Your phone calls, keep those coming in. I'm going to make you the commissioner of Major League Baseball for one day, 24 hours. What is the first change that you are going to make? And here's your answers. Here's your selections. A, are you going to shorten the season? B, would you implement a salary cap? C, would you begin computerized balls and strikes behind home plate? D, would you cap the prices of game tickets and prices at the concession stand? What's the first thing you would do? And if you would do A, B, C, D, that's fine too. Let me know. Or you can put them in a different article, if a different order, if you wish. But if I said, hey, I'm gonna go all good, Phil. Like, come here. Let me ask you something. If I made you the commissioner of the day for Major League Baseball, what's the first change you would make? Shorten the season, implement a salary cap, begin computerized system of calling balls and strikes, or cap the prices of game tickets and concession stand prices? What's the first one that you would do? At AM 1310 WDPN on Twitter right now, 72% say implement a salary cap. 17% say shorten the season. 11% cap the prices of tickets and concessions. And I got to be honest with you, I am shocked. Nobody wants to go to computerized pitch calling of balls and strikes. Do you know that we had an umpire, and I believe it was Lance Diaz, shocker. It was either Sunday night or Monday night. And somebody did a compilation on Twitter. He missed 28 pitches on balls and strikes. A professional Major League Baseball umpire. That's as high as you can go. He missed 28 pitches in one game. Think about that. That is an absolute crime. 28 pitches. Oh. That's like 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. That's like 3 missed calls an inning. Balls and strikes. Look, I'm okay if you're going to miss a handful. I'll give you that. I'll let you miss a handful. You really, look, if you're a major league umpire, and those guys are getting paid really well. I know it's not the easiest job, but that's what you signed up for. That's what you're contracted for. That's what you're getting paid for. Do your job. But Lance Diaz missed 28 balls and strike pitches the other night. I'm pretty sure Lance is going to be behind the plate in a couple of days. Because if he was behind the plate there, he'll go to first base, he'll go to second, and third, and then the next series, he'll be back behind home plate. If we screwed up 28 times a day on our job, we would be fired. They'd be calling for artificial intelligence people to come in here and do a show or run the board or do this or do that.
That would be really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, we would not. We wouldn't last a week.
28
We were
times.
doing that bad for a week.
That's why I am shocked that nobody would go to the computerized balls and strikes as part of our poll question today. So if I made you the king for a day, I let you be the commissioner of Major League Baseball, what's the first big change you're going to make? Shorten the season, implement a salary cap, computerization of balls and strikes calls, or would you cap tickets for concessions and tickets? What do you say? 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Don't forget, be sure to follow and interact with us on all of our social media platforms, AM 1310 WDPN, on Facebook, on X, and of course you can listen to us on a good old terrestrial radio. We appreciate that as well. But interact with us on social media. We love to interact with our audience. It's a big part of what we do here every day on 1310 WDPN. We'll get into some of the I'll do that now. Don't forget, we've got On This Day in Sports History coming up here in about 6 or 7 minutes. But some of the responses on our poll question have been phenomenal. Some have been some have been outright funny, and I've mentioned some of those. Here's one: install a betting kiosk at every seat in the stadium. Yeah, that would be okay. That would be all right. Eric says salary cap, but also bring back Saturday afternoon baseball. Tim says, in this order, Sam, implement the cap, cap the prices on tickets and concessions, then shorten the season, and then bring in computers to call balls and strikes. Walter, he's going to go A, B, C, D. So he wants to shorten the season, implement the cap. He wants it all. Walter wants it all. That's okay. Rocky says, please, for the love of God, implement a salary cap. Let's see here. Robin, D, cut the prices of tickets and concession stands. Make it better and more accessible for all fans. Also institute a pension for all commissioners, no matter the length of service. Huh. Okay, that's a little outside the box. I hadn't even thought of something
That's
like
a
that.
sweet little loophole that he put in there. Very
I
smart.
like the way you're thinking there, Robin. Joe Volpe says definitely D, cap tickets, prices, and concessions. See, we're starting to get a few more of these now. At the beginning, it was like 90% salary cap. Now people are starting to say, hey, maybe you cut the prices on some stuff. Maybe that would be a little way to go. Antonio says, Sam, of all your choices, which I love, I'm going to go D, cap ticket prices and concession stand prices. Tracy says, definitely going to go with B. Get me a salary cap. Eric Phillips. Eric, hope you're well. Thanks for listening and following along. He says cap prices at concession stands and tickets. Sean Davis says, Sam, got to have a salary cap. Just have to have it. One more here. And then there's another one here by Yarnell. Yarnell says, please get rid of the pitch clock. I'm going to have to disagree there. I kind of like the way that they have sped up the pace of play a little bit. I kind of like that. Even when I'm at the stadium. Now, if I'm watching at home on TV, I appreciate the pace of play a little bit more. Now, when I'm at the ballpark and whatever you fork over that night for tickets, and we're talking about concessions and whatever, you're parking and this and that and the other, you probably want to stay at the ballpark a little bit longer, especially if it's a nice night. Now, on a day like today, first of all, I'm probably not going to go to the game when it's 94 and humid. I'm probably not going to go.
No, you might as well sit in a frying pan.
But if I had tickets and I've already spent the money, then a day like today, on a game like today, yeah, I'm hoping it's a quick game. I really am. But still, most want the salary cap, but a lot of you are coming around to the maybe not many people have said shorten the season. I'd say maybe on Facebook, maybe about 15, 18%. We've had some say as much as, hey, let's go to 140 games. You're never going. First of all, you'll probably never see the 162 go away. I would be shocked. I would be shocked. And the only way you'll ever see that is if the owners figure out a way and the players figure out a way to keep that revenue or maybe make it a different kind of revenue stream. So if you knock 12 games off, they would still recover that revenue. Okay. Now, look, you can get real imaginative. You can think out of the box. You can go down a lot of different roads and maybe figure out a way to recoup that. But just for today, I made that one of the choices to shorten the season from 162, maybe go to 154, maybe go to 150. But those are your four choices if I made you commissioner for a day. Real quick before we take a break, Oklahoma City Thunder had their big parade today in downtown. You can imagine the festivities were off the charts. Players were spraying champagne into the crowd. I believe Shea Gilgeous-Alexander actually had the Larry O'Brien trophy, and he was running with it like a jogging pace along one of the streets, and he just put it out there and let the fans touch the trophy. He was just running up and down the street and letting the fans really, really get in on the act. So congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And we know what that's like. Oh, can you imagine? Now, I remember our parade in 2016. It was hot. It might have been as hot as it is today. Can you imagine going to a parade today and being outside with 1.5, 2.3 million, whatever it was, and nowhere to move and nowhere to go and transport? Oh, boy, that would be hot. But it still would be fun because you were the best at the end of the day. We'll take a break. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. When we get back, another edition of On This Day in Sports History, next on 1310 WDPN.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suite? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And we're back, ready to go for another Today in Sports History right here on the Sam Bouquin Show. We do it every Monday through Friday here on AM 1310 WDPN. Here we go. 1911, John J. McDermott became the first American-born winner of the U.S. Open. On this day in 1922, the American Professional Football Association took the name of the National Football League. Bet you didn't know that. Maybe you did. On this day in 1971, the National Basketball Association modified its 4-year eligibility rule to allow for college hardship cases. No longer did you have to play all the way through freshman, junior, sophomore. Nope. After 3 years, you could head to the draft if you wanted. On this day in 1979, Houston Astros power hitter Bob Watson hit for the cycle against San Francisco. On September 15th of 79, he became the first player to hit for the cycle in both leagues when he did it with the Boston Red Sox. On this day in 1980, the Atlanta Flames franchise packed up their bags and moved to Calgary, Alberta, and they are now known today as the Calgary Flames. On this day in 2010, the NHL Board of Governors approved a penalty for a lateral blindside hit to the head. The penalty, an illegal check to the head, was set at a 5-minute major penalty and an automatic misconduct penalty. And finally, on this day in 2003, Barry Bonds of the San Francisco Giants, the first player to reach 500 stolen bases and 500 home runs.
Nobody out. Deep to right field. This one is on its way to McCovey Cove. Number 500. It's into the water. Unbelievable. Bonds has hit the historic 500th homer, the 17th man in history. He joins his godfather, Willie Mays. He joins Willie McCovey and Mel Ott, the fourth Giant to do it. And in so doing, he has put the Giants ahead of the Dodgers.
John Miller on the call, San Francisco Giants radio TV. Back in the day, Barry Bonds hit number 500. Boy, John Miller, he is one of the best. We'll take a break. News and weather coming up right around the corner on 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. President Trump is at the two-day NATO summit in the Netherlands, where recent unrest in the Middle East and the ongoing war in Ukraine will be at the top of the agenda. While on board Air Force One, the president was asked whether he believes in Article 5 of the NATO Charter, which stipulates that if one NATO member state is attacked, it is considered an attack on the entire body.
I'm committed to saving lives. I'm committed to life and safety. And I'm going to give you an exact definition when I get there. I just don't want to do it on the back of an airplane.
A fragile ceasefire between Iran and Israel appears to be holding. The deal initially faltered, and President Trump expressed frustration today with both sides, saying they have fought for so long and so hard that they do not know what they are doing. Israel had earlier accused Iran of launching missiles into its airspace after the truce was supposed to take effect. The Iranian military denied firing on Israel, but explosions boomed and sirens sounded across northern Israel in the morning. An Israeli military official said 2 Iranian missiles were intercepted. U.S. officials confirmed drones unsuccessfully targeted U.S. military bases in Iraq. This coming as U.S. troops in the Middle East remain on high alert. ABC News senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez has more from the Pentagon.
Some drones were intercepted by U.S. defensive systems as they approached U.S. bases, and they were unsuccessful. And we know that there were no U.S. military casualties in these incidents. Now, the question is, who did this? We are tracking some Iraqi media reports that there has been no claims of responsibility made, obviously raising some attention. Remember that U.S. military forces throughout the region remain on high alert, but the sense I'm getting from here at the Pentagon is that officials don't seem overly concerned right now and think that it might be just a one-off situation.
The Trump administration has postponed classified briefings for Senate and House members today as lawmakers are looking for more answers about the president's directed strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities over the weekend and his announcement Monday that 2 countries had reached a ceasefire agreement. Multiple sources say both briefings were canceled and the Senate briefing has been rescheduled for Thursday, so Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio can attend. It is unclear when the House will be briefed. The temperature in New York City has reached 100 degrees as the eastern U.S. swelters under an extreme heat wave. According to the National Weather Service, Kennedy International Airport recorded 100 degrees Fahrenheit at midday today. Large swaths of the country were broiling under a heat dome, worsened by a humid atmosphere that's circling the east. After nearly 40 U.S. cities broke record high marks Monday, the Weather Service expected dozens of records today when the heat dome should hit its peak. It's 92 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
A heat advisory remains in effect until tonight at 8 o'clock. Sunny skies this afternoon with a high near 94. Tonight, a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly cloudy, a low around 73. Chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon tomorrow with a high near 88. For Thursday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 86. Chance of rain, 60%. That's your WDPN weather.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below, you take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
You're listening to the Sam Bouquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we're back in the semi-home stretch here, so to speak. We got about 25 minutes left in the program. Plenty of time for you to check us out on all of the AM 1310 WDPN platforms on social media. You can check us out on our Facebook page, our Twitter or X page. You can check us out on the radio at 1310 WDPN. Don't forget about our Q92 radio page on YouTube. You can always go there and watch and listen and drop some comments as well. All about interaction. We certainly do appreciate that, and we want you along for the ride. So whenever you get a chance, go to our WDPN Facebook page, give it a like, give it a share, give it a follow, and hang out with us here Monday through Friday. Hey, you start your day at 6 a.m. Rex in the morning, get you moving. Got some great music, got some anecdotes. He's got the news, you got the weather with Clint in the morning, and then you've got John Tesh, music for your life, advice for your life, all kind of great things every day, 10 until 3. And then the Sam Bouquin Show. We come in, give you a little sports, give you some entertainment, have a little fun, some poll questions, a lot of different things, Monday through Friday. Keep it right here. What do you say? AM 1310 WDPN. And, of course, we stream live at AM1310WDPN.com. All right, the Guards and the Blue Jays open up a little series in Cleveland tonight. This is game one of a 3-game set. Now, remember, Cleveland just had a 9-game road trip. They did have a day off yesterday for travel. So remember what they always say when a team comes back from a long road trip? The first game back is usually like just an extension of that road trip. So a lot of people think, oh, they're home. They're well rested. They're going to win. They got to sleep in their own bed. And blah, blah, blah. They're not on the Eastern time zone clock yet, even with a day off yesterday. So curtail your expectations is what I'm saying, okay? Blue Jays and Guardians coming up at 6:40 tonight. Lauer and Allen, the pitching matchup. All right, Logan Allen, trying to figure out what this cat's all about. He's 5-4. It has a 4.21 earned run average. Lauer comes in 3-1 with a 2.29 ERA. The Blue Jays are a $1.35 favorite tonight, and the over-under is set at 8.5. So what does this all mean? The Blue Jays come in at 41-36. The Guards are 39-37. Let's talk about Logan Allen for a minute. He's got 9 decisions. We told you 5 wins, 4 losses. Earned run average, not great. Not horrifying, but it's not great. It's 4.21. He's pitched 66 in the 3rd innings. The whip, not great. It's 1.48. You look at Eric Lauer, 0.93. Whip means walks and hits per innings pitched. 1.48 is pretty darn high. And all you have to do is just go over in that stat column a little bit and see that Logan Allen has struck out 50 batters. Okay. He's walked 30. Not okay. That's not okay. So let's see how Logan Allen comes out tonight against the Blue Jays. Starting lineups, look like this. For the Blue Jays, Bo Bichette's going to lead off tonight. Ernie Clement, remember old Ernie? He'll bat second. Vladdy will hit third. Kirk will bat fourth at cleanup. George Springer will bat fifth. Dee Snider will bat sixth. Clase will bat seventh. That's for Toronto, Clase. Our good buddy Miles Straw is batting 8th. And Jimenez will bat 9th. Let me see here. Andres Jimenez batting 9th. Okay. That is not a bad lineup. That's not a bad lineup. Now for the Guardians tonight. Tell me how many runs you see in this lineup. Leading off will be Stephen Kwan. Lane the Train Thomas will bat 2nd. Hosey will bat 3rd. David Fry is your cleanup batter tonight. Carlos Santana will bat 5th. Gabby Arias will bat 6th. Angel Martinez will bat 7th. Jonathan Rodriguez will bat 8th. And Hedgie will bat in the 9th position tonight. Let's just for fun, Eric Lauer 3-1 with the Jays. His ERA is 2.29, 36 strikeouts, 11 walks. Quan Thomas, Ramirez, Fry, Santana, Arias, Martinez, Rodriguez, Hedges. The ball should carry a little bit tonight because of the weather. I don't know what the wind or the breeze situation is going to be. If it's going to be blowing a little crazy tonight, I don't know. No, wind's 4 miles an hour out of the west, so forget that. The wind, there's going to be no wind. So I think tonight we score 2, 3. I think we score 4. I think we score 4 tonight. I don't know how many we're going to give up, but I think we score 4. This game's got 5-4 written all over it, doesn't it? Vegas is frothing at the mouth right now because they got the total at 8.5. Watch this thing. Watch it go up to 9, maybe 9.5. You might see a lot of runs tonight. You might see a lot of runs. Guardians just getting back off the road trip, trying to get their legs, try to get their, you're coming home to this heat and humidity. You got to remember, it was not warm at all out in Sacramento, and it certainly wasn't warm in San Francisco. So when the guards got home, they got off the plane, they probably said, "What's this? What is this? Are we in the rainforest?" So they might be a little, I'm telling you right now, I think what I'm telling you is, without telling you, if you're gonna, what do they say in the business? If you're gonna get down on this game tonight, you need to take this thing over. You need to bet this baby over. Now, I haven't given out a lot of selections. We're going to kind of hold off on that as part of a daily feature. I already got it all set up. All we got to do is make some tweaks. But it won't be too much longer now. We're probably going to start it here in the probably the end of August. It's going to be Sammy B's best bet. And I'll give you one. I'll give you one good selection I feel about that day, and you can go out and do what you want with it. But we're not going to do that until August. But keep that in your hip pocket, okay? But if we were doing one today, I would say there's going to be runs aplenty at Progressive Field, and I would definitely go over the 9.5 tonight. But hopefully we have more runs than they do. But gee whiz, Logan Allen, you can't have 50 strikeouts and 30 walks. That's just not good. Checking out the injury thing here. We still got Will Brennan listed as on the 10-day IL with the elbow. Nobody else really mentioned. Anthony Santander is on the 10-day IL with shoulder issues. So both teams are pretty much healthy. Blue Jays are scoring 4.3 a game. The Guards are scoring 3.8. Man, you've got to score more than 4 runs a game on an average to be considered, a player. Okay, you've got to score more than that. Our team batting average is 230. Our on-base percentage is .300. That's 28th in the league. Our slugging percentage is .370, 27th in the league. There's only 30 teams. Our OPS is 27th in the league at .670. We've only hit 75 home runs. That's 24th. Now, we are stealing some bases. We're 12th. We've got 61. But you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what the problem is. We don't hit the ball. We don't have enough power. We're not getting on base enough. That's the whole problem. By the way, Cleveland 19-15 at home. The Blue Jays are 16-20 on the road. Last 10, usually a pretty good barometer as you get ready for a series. Blue Jays are 4-6. The Guardians are 5-5. Blue Jays lost their last game. The Guards have won 2 in a row. So kind of setting the stage for you tonight. Cleveland, Toronto, 6:40 first pitch at Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland. And I think you're going to see a lot of runs tonight up at the old ballpark. 330-821-1310 is our telephone number, 330-821-1310. Before we go to a break, I did want to throw out our poll question of the day. If I made you the commissioner of the day for Major League Baseball, I'll give you 24 hours. You can think the first 23, but I need some action. I need you to make a decision. I need you to put something out there. Poll question is, if I made you commissioner for the day for Major League Baseball, what's the first change you would make? A, would you shorten the season? B, would you implement a salary cap? C, would you begin computerized system of calling balls and strikes? Or D, would you cap the prices of game tickets and items at the concession stand? What's the first thing you would do? What would you do? 330-821-1310. You can text the show at 330-924-7088. We are coming up on 12 minutes until the top of the hour. We'll step out. We'll come back with more of the Sam Bouquin Show. Keep it here. Keep it here. 1310 WDPN and streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly. Get on board. Get on board.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in the late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is the Sam Bouquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, welcome back. We get about 9 minutes to go here on the program, 330-821-1310. The Sam Bouquin Show with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Guardians, Blue Jays tonight. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll see what else happens in MLB tonight. But another trade of the NBA. Drew Holiday going from the Boston Celtics for Anthony Simmons and the Portland Trailblazers. Boy, Boston's sure going to look different next year, aren't they? Aren't they going to look different? Whew, injuries and trades, and they're in salary cap hell. They're going to look a lot different next year. And I think you'll probably start seeing and hearing about some more NBA trades. Don't forget the draft is coming up here in a couple of days. They've changed did you see they changed they've changed how they're going to do the draft this year. It's going to be a 2-day event. I don't know if that's a really good idea. Let's be honest. The NBA draft, after the first, 5 picks, there's really not a lot of juice there. There really isn't. So you're going to have round 1 on the first night, and then you're going to come back the second night and have round 2. Second round draft picks in the NBA are, I don't want to say useless, but again, probably not going to draw me to the TV. Really, really not. Even the first round of the NBA has turned out to be so anticlimactic. Even this year, Cooper Flagg from Duke obviously is going to go number 1, and he's going to go to the Dallas Mavericks. After that, who is going where? And who are these players? Because we don't know who they are. And that's case in point to the transfer portal. Guys playing in 2 and 3 colleges over a 3 or 4 year period. By the time they're drafted, you don't know who they are or what school they came from. And you would think with, all of the games that are televised now, whether it's TV, cable, streaming, pay-per-view packages, university or college networks, ESPN Plus, this and that and the other, you'd think you would know who these players are, a lot of them. But they're not marquee names, and they're guys that have bounced around. So I don't know how compelling this draft is going to be. I really don't, because there's no surprise. Cooper Flagg's going to Dallas. And after that, okay, have at it. I don't know what the viewership's going to be in Northeast Ohio. Cavs aren't going to be doing anything. And I don't really see a reason for them to try to hop in at a certain spot to grab somebody. The NBA draft, man, to me, it's really, really lost its luster. It really has. Just there's the lack of marquee names and the fact that you're going to spread this thing out now over 2 days. And I get it. They're copying off the NFL because the NFL leads the way as far as putting on a show, putting on a production, stretching an event out into 3 days and like 18 to 20 hours of programming for one event. And again, let's be honest, in the NFL draft, I usually check out after the fourth round. Couldn't do that this year because, well, Jimmy and Dee had to go get Shedeur Sanders in the fifth round. They couldn't let that alone. But usually the NFL draft, I check out after round 4. NBA draft, I used to watch the whole first round, and then they would take a break. Remember, who's the David Stern, okay? He would do the first round, and then they would bring in Adam Silver to do the second round, okay? All right, now David Stern then retired, and then Adam Silver was bumped up to be the NBA commissioner. Then they brought in this Mark Tatum, Mr. Smiles, and he was now the NBA's deputy commissioner, and he would come in and start the second round and read the teams and the names and this, that, and the other. And I'll never forget the first time. I can't do it justice because you can't see him, but I remember the first time that Mark Tatum came on to open up the second round of the NBA draft. I forget what city it was in. And all this dude did was smile from ear to ear. And he would look into the camera. And the people that were in the audience would just laugh. And I think he said, "Oh, this could be a thing." So now this is all that he does. He's got this big, giant grin. And he looks into the camera. And he just starts talking. And then he finishes his sentence. He gives you another big, a big cheese, and then he exits and goes back behind the curtain before he comes out again. It's the funniest thing I've seen. So if you're going to watch the NBA draft, you got to wait till the second night to see Mr. Smiles come out as the NBA deputy commissioner. It is an absolute hoot, this guy. It's taken on a life of its own. It really has. So I guess we got that to look forward to. But as far as the NBA draft, good grief. that thing has really lost its luster big time. And I think it's a mistake going to 2 days. Now, the one good thing is the first round of the draft now will be over, I don't know, before midnight or 12:30 in the morning. When they were doing first and second round, it was lasting past midnight. Now, you probably could have cut out some of the nonsense, a lot of the commercials, a lot of the goofy, unnecessary features and stuff. And maybe you could have started the draft a little bit earlier. I'm not sure what time they started, probably 8 o'clock. You could have started that thing at 7, and you could have got the first and second round, and you'd be done by 11:15, 11:30. But now they're going to make it a 2-day event. So we got that coming up here. Pretty soon. We'll be talking about that. But again, there's no mystery. It's going to be Duke's Cooper Flagg. He's going number 1. After that, I guess let the party begin, right? All right. Phil is warming up in the background. That means it's time to say goodbye for the day. Thanks to my producer extraordinaire, Ryan Rainsberg. Thanks to all of you for calling and texting and emailing and commenting on all of our social media platforms today with AM 1310 WDPN. We certainly do appreciate that. Thanks to my guest, Ben Axelrod from Awful Announcing. If you missed that interview, it will be up a little bit later on tonight. Just to check us out on all of our social media platforms, and you can listen to that interview that we had with Ben Axelrod. Did a great job from Awful Announcing. You can check him out on X's, by the way, at Ben Axelrod. Does a great job. And we'll regroup. We'll all stay hydrated. We'll try to stay cool as best we can. We'll meet you back here tomorrow at 3 o'clock on 1310 WDPN. And always, don't forget, go Guards, go Browns, go Cavs, go Bucks. Good night. Stay cool, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Seems so